Yes, OpenServ is hitting your radio waves every day now, and you can't stop us. All right, we're even bringing friends and reinforcements. The movement is real. The cult is popping. We have everyone we need here today, except for maybe a special surprise guest will join us in a minute. But welcome, everyone. This is a big one for us. Today, we're diving into a conversation that the team has been building for a while, and our community is going raving stark mad 30% up over the future of prediction markets. Okay, it's autonomous, it's on OpenServ, and it's on Dome. Okay, everybody say it with me. It's on Dome. Okay, that's not a tagline. This is what's literally happening right now. So joining me today are four people who are helping shape what the future looks like today. Tim Hafner, OpenServ's co-founder and CEO, the guy steering the ship. Tim, how you doing today?
Doing very well, doing very well. Bit of traveling yesterday, but excited to be back on the stream again.
Yes, yes. You hit us up yesterday on the live stream from while you were boarding an airplane, which is ridiculous. I got to get up to your level.
Yeah, stoked to
And
have Karush here from Dome, representing Dome. Exciting things happening. Exciting things happening.
that's right,
Thanks
Karush.
for having me. Appreciate you guys.
Karush is CEO and co-founder of Dome, who's building what we think is the data layer for the next era of crypto intelligence. Karush, welcome, man. I mean, we know you're live from San Francisco right now, halfway through YC, running on what, like 14 or 18-hour days. What's happening with you right now?
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, it's been awesome. We're just like grinding right now. It's early days in our company, and as you mentioned, we're in the YC batch right now, which has been really really rewarding. But it's a lot of hard work, and so we're grinding right now. But it's honestly super fulfilling, and we're really really excited.
What does
Amazing.
your day-to-day look like there?
Honestly, the honest day to day is like we wake up, probably have 3 to 4 hours of customer calls, and then we do like a 1 hour good gym session. That's like our one break,
Nice.
and then from there we're just working from like 1 to 3 a.m.
Yep.
I like that. I
Sounds like
like
a
that.
grind.
Well, I don't want us to skip over one of the people who put together this amazing partnership for us and is making all this possible with us. Ian Morgan, how you doing today, Ian?
Doing good, doing good. I'm glad to have Karush on the call. Like I think the beginnings of this partnership, we got to have like very candid back and forth and conversation, and got to see like what a great guy he was. So I wanted to bring him on the stream. Thought it was a
Yes. Yes.
natural fit to.
It's rare that the technology quality matches the personality quality, Karush. So we're so happy to have you here, and we're happy that you're grinding out here with us. But it's paying off. I see Dome's
Appreciate it.
become the prediction market API people keep mentioning all over our timelines. My whole timeline right now is serve, 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 and Dome. And Dome, if you don't know, is basically the unified layer for prediction markets. So Polymarket, Kalshi, Manifold, Limitless, Melee. I mean, all of them are connected, all normalized and live, and it's the cleanest data set in the space, which is why, OpenServe had to integrate it. And maybe we can show you all a demo of some agents working in prediction markets in Web3. Excuse me, this doesn't exist, does it? Yes, it does here today. So, Karush, why don't you tell us a little bit about Dome from your perspective and your pitch to those who might be learning about Dome for the first time today?
Yeah, absolutely. So you kind of hit it on the nail, but like Dome is trying to build a unified layer for prediction markets. So we're trying to have like the one entry point where you can get access to any prediction market you want. As you mentioned, whether it's Kalshi, Polymarket, something else, we want to integrate that and we want to unify that together. Our kind of root thesis is like, when you want to buy like Apple stock, you tell Robinhood, hey, give me Apple stock. You don't say, hey, give me Apple stock on the Chicago exchange, right? So Robinhood finds the best price, the best volume, and it does that for you. And we eventually see a world where we move towards prediction markets like that. So if you wanted to buy a bet on a prediction market, we'll find the best market for that, the best price, the best volume. And so we're doing a lot of groundbreaking work and just connecting these markets. And to also get there, we're building like deep layer infrastructure and APIs so that builders can build on these prediction markets. We are like so incredibly early in this space, and seeing some of the builders really starting to adopt prediction markets and leverage these tools. And it's way more than just trading. There's insights, there's information, there's edge, there's alpha. And seeing how people are integrating these APIs into their products has been super, super rewarding. So our main thesis is we want to just like make it super easy for anyone to build in the prediction market space.
Where do you
Absolutely.
see AI fitting into that?
Mm,
Yeah, absolutely. So AI is like I think in the initial view of the company, at first we were like, okay, there's a lot of traders there. You know, a lot of people need historical data. But as we've seen people adopt our tools, it's very clear that there is a huge layer of autonomous activity that's going to be involved. It's no longer like trading is no longer just like you open up an app and you bet on one way or the other. There's so many people building algorithms and bots and trying to learn edge, or even just integrating like live like information feeds and try to act on those feeds. And this goes way beyond just, again, trading. So one example of a customer we were talking to was like using an autonomous agent to pull in information about weather data and make a certain about hedges for the like insurance contracts. So just integrating like AI to pull the relevant data, find the relevant hedges, and basically make those in real time was like an opportunity that just didn't exist before. And so there's so many like disruptions in traditional systems like insurance, right? And this can be used to hedge so many different positions. So we really truly believe we see prediction markets as a additional like primitive on top of equities and crypto. And so it's going to be used so much more than just like trading and speculation. It's going to be used for hedging, for information, and integrating with that with AI is going to allow people to just really 10x their systems as far as how they operate.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. I think on our first call, we talked about this whole hedging thing, right? Like, I mean, tradition, normally like a farmer, for example, if they want to hedge against their harvest or against rainfall, they got to go get a brokerage account on some futures exchange. And now with prediction markets, they can just with a crypto wallet permissionlessly place their hedges on a global liquid market without all of the garbage that comes with needing to operate a brokerage account, learn how futures works, and all of that.
And on top of that, they can integrate it with their like personal system. Like with the traditional like futures market, right? They're very limited in the tools that they can use. So it's a very blunt instrument to do any type of hedge that they need. But like you integrate with prediction markets, you integrate with an autonomous agent, you can in real time read your yield, your crops, your database, what you're looking like, and appropriately buy in and buy out. So again, it's just an extraordinarily more fine grained tool that people have at hand to operate like for the solutions that they currently need right now.
Yeah, 100%. And that's where, I mean, we're picking up a lot of traction on our side of things where people can, with our tech and then your API feed, can just drag and drop, construct these automations and flows that pull data, do analysis, and then take actions. So these can be things like you just said, right? Like it could literally be someone could create an entire sort of like farming hedging application off of this. They could create an autonomous trading strategy. So what we're actually going to be demoing today is we got a couple lads on the team building out. So I mean, everyone's pretty familiar with this NOF1 trading experiment where we got 4 models trading against each other. We're building the exact same thing right now with DOME data for prediction markets. So we're getting agents, Grok, Claude, OpenAI, and Gemini, I think we have, and DeepSeek. We're doing the exact same thing using OpenServ, DOME API, and doing it on prediction markets for sports betting. We're going to have a live terminal set up. It's going to be sick.
Wow.
Heck yeah, I'm excited.
It feels like Tim is dropping a new song on Hot 97 in the 90s. This is huge. So before we get to that, Tim, for months you've been talking about data and reasoning coming together with AI, right? From Lunar Crush to the other things we've done. Just in general, can you catch people up on what prediction markets are for those who may be learning about this for the first time from your perspective? And then maybe we can have Karush go before we show the demo.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, traditional investments revolve around buying a stake in some kind of asset or commodity. Prediction markets is basically an abstraction layer on top of that, where you can bet on an outcome of an event. So instead of having to buy Bitcoin, you could just bet on, is it going to cross, like what's the over under? Is it going to cross this by a certain amount of time, or any kind of parameters? And it's just it's a super flexible way to basically invest in kind of any idea, any concept, any asset in a more like flexible way than having to just actually buy the underlying asset, which I think just opens up an entirely I can't even really picture it myself. Like this just opens up a whole fucking new market that could be trillions of dollars in size, right? Like why would you need to buy an underlying asset anymore if you could just bet on anything you could even create your own markets. Like, I'm losing my words, like at all the possibilities even.
Yeah, it's a lot. Karush, what do you think? I mean, we'd love to hear your opinion on what prediction markets are today, as we see everything from gambling to political elections. Prediction markets hit everything in our culture. So, what's your perspective on it now that you're sort of at the tip of the spear?
Yeah, I mean, so echoing a lot of what Tim said, but taking it a step further, I mean, I think the initial use case of prediction markets is obviously people are like, oh, I can bet on things, I can bet on sports games, and I think that's incredible. It's obviously first like use case is retail, but as I was mentioning earlier, like the applications for it goes so much further than that. And I think the main key like differentiator between prediction markets and traditional is it's like peer to peer. And so most like traditional betting type systems, like you're essentially playing against the house. And for a lot of people, that can feel unfair. A lot of people, the lines aren't great. It's not really in their advantage. And it feels a lot more like gambling. Here, when you have like a peer-to-peer system, it's a truly like way of sharing information and pricing things. So in addition to actually applying bets, it is a way of like giving real information and using public decentralized information. So that's like my first spiel on just prediction markets. It's like it's a whole new financial instrument that gives both financial outcomes, but also information. And as I mentioned, echoing what Tim said, is like the applications for it are so much wider than just betting. Like you can do it on any outcome. I think I use the weather contracts as an example, but like if you're a small business and you want to hedge against tariffs, right? Like tariffs are so unpredictable and it's happening so in real time. If you were to buy futures or something, they're just too slow to move. You can automatically use prediction markets to like hedge and help your business. And so the number of applications there just like exponentially grow from our traditional financial tools.
Yeah, I mean, something that just popped in my head was I'm sure many of us have watched The Big Short. I've probably watched it more times than I'd like to admit. And I mean, think about the scenario presented there where there was this like small garage fund who wanted to invest in these like credit default swaps, but they didn't have this institutional license, this ISDA, and it was like a whole pain to get it, and only like certain, like if you're like above a certain like capitalization level, you can access this kind of like off market deals and like security instruments. And today with prediction markets, a retail investor could have hedged against the like these like loan defaults without having these sort of like this red tape on top of it that you normally require from a $1 billion fund, which is
That's amazing.
Amazing, right?
Yeah.
Unlimited possibilities. And another new possibility is just another person just jumping into the stream right now. Why not? Right. Let's make it a party.
What's going on?
We've got the one and only Lucas Hafner, co-founder at OpenServ. Lucas, how are you doing today?
Doing all right, doing great. You know, I just got off a call, saw you guys were in the live stream and didn't want to miss it, so figured I'd jump in. Hi, Karush, nice to meet you.
Likewise, Lucas. Pleasure meeting you.
I guess
Amazing.
I joined in right as Ian's connection's dropping off, so I guess seamless substitution.
Hey, we don't stop here. You know, next person up. We're always ready to go.
Hey, I'm just saying I've never seen Ian and Lucas in the same room together. So
Good point. Tim, do you want to run the demo?
Yeah, sure.
You all set?
Yeah, the lads presented it to us earlier, and we can give a little high-level overview of what we're working on.
And while you're doing that, Lucas, you must be floored by how fast everything's been moving with prediction markets as well. You want to give your perspective on Dome and OpenServ from the COO
absolutely.
seat?
I think first I really got introduced to prediction markets was you know what, I'll say that for later. I think we got a more exciting demo on the screen, and we can jump into that afterwards. Sure.
All right.
Okay, Tim, what are we looking at here?
Okay, so here we have a workflow on OpenServ, so on our platform, that uses two Dome Dome agents that like hit Dome API endpoints. So one is to fetch some market details and then order history. And what we're doing is, well, basically, let me first show. What we're doing is this is dummy data, but we're basically recreating this Alpha Arena thing that's blown up by Nof1 on Twitter. So a trading competition between different models, so GPT-5, Grok, Claude, Gemini, DeepSeek, and Qwen. And instead of trading hyperliquid markets or like crypto perps, we're doing prediction markets using Dome's APIs for our data feed and prediction market, like sort of like on-chain execution agents. And yeah, it's fucking sick. So so it basically runs on OpenServ as a workflow on the back end. We have these two DOM API agents that fetch data, and then we have an agent that basically has a system prompt that executes, basically goes out and does some research and creates like a statistical analysis for each agent, and that then determines what sort of actions the agents take, whether they buy the market, sell it, decide to reinvest more. And so here we can just see like a quick demo of it running. So it fetches the data. We can see that happening in real time. Then it creates like the outputs in like in JSON format. And here we can see just like the raw market data that's getting fed instantaneously from DOM's API, super quick, responsive.
Crazy.
It all happens really quickly, really neatly formatted. And then that is, well, at least for a machine, maybe not for us, but.
While we have you here, Karush, how much data do you think, I mean, do you have any numbers on DOM's polling of data at the moment?
I mean, right now we have integration partners for a bunch of data, Kalshi and Polymarket mostly. We're pretty heavy on the Polymarket side, and we're trying to grow our Kalshi offering as well. So if there's any Kalshi folks there who want to talk about it, let's chat. We'd love to integrate more of your APIs there. But yeah, we have every single trade that has ever been made on Polymarket on the back end side. So we're talking about over 180 million trades in our databases. And yeah, that's all available to pull in real time.
Insane. Server costs go brr. So yeah, here on that final agent, we can see, so it's basically doing an analysis on each market that was fetched with all four of the models that we have. So then it's basically doing that on each market. And based on that analysis, it's determining what trade is being made by the agent. And here we can see, this isn't set up on the workflow yet, but this is an OpenServ agent. Apologies, it's pretty shitty quality. So then that basically ports over to this other agent that makes a decision and basically executes the trade on the back end. And that is then, done through the Polymarket API. If you refresh, you can see the trade's been made. And we're going to be streaming all of this data as it happens in real time. You're going to see all the logs back to the front end, which is going to exist as a website. I believe we're going to have this up. We only started like yesterday, and we're already going to have it up over the weekend, hopefully. So really stoked to get that going and create a spectacle out of it.
That's insane.
That was incredible.
That is nuts.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. I think we're gonna make an entire like show out of this, right? Like every day we can post updates, make tweaks, get community buy-in. Like, hey, what do you guys want to see? What kind of different markets we want to trade? Run multiple experiments, see how different models perform under different circumstances, different prompting. Gonna do some exciting stuff here.
For me personally, the exciting thing about wrapping these APIs up as agents is that you suddenly open up the ability for people to use them who aren't necessarily super technical. I think it's already a incredible amount of value for someone who is technical, these APIs, to build their product, build their application, build trading strategies. But now through agents, it's created a new user experience that regular non-technical people are familiar with. So the part I'm really interested to see is when people start coming up with their own unique trading strategies and leveraging the data from DOM to come up with really unique strategies that I think otherwise they wouldn't have been able to create.
And yeah, just like adding to that as well, like one thing that we found very interesting is like, since we have all this data, we were kind of just like looking at the data specifically for Polymarket. When we noticed there's over 1.3 million unique traders over the span of Polymarket's time, yet like only a small subset of that actually have like a lot of trades. We're talking like over 1,000 trades, maybe 0.5%. And so you've historically had these like whales that dominate the trading experience. But I think as we get more autonomous agents and more integrations here, you're going to see that distribution completely change. As you just mentioned, Lucas, like the average person who has maybe really good insights or really good access to feeds, but isn't very technical, can now integrate and make these types of algorithms to trade. And so I think you're also going to see a disruption as far as like the user base. It's going to be a lot more smaller and decentralized, where you have like the average person that can actually contribute here versus just like a mega whale that's coming in and dominating the market.
Yeah, and I think the health of the market as well, to give other people the ability to compete on a relatively even playing field, I think is huge.
Huge.
And what I'm like really stoked for is what we kind of touched on earlier. So and having this, so your API, our automation workflow builder, as this kind of like foundational level on top of which people can not only build like strategies, but applications that like basically have their own UI UX and solve a specific need for someone else. So specifically this, like someone could have the idea like, oh, hey, I know that, farmers in this region need to hedge against this type of like externality. It could be like tornadoes or whatever.
Right.
And obviously cognizant that the average farmer is going to have no idea how to set up a strategy like this. So do it for them, turn it into an application where it's super easy to understand. And, someone could just deposit their money, connect their wallet, deposit their money, and access all of this infrastructure without having to build it themselves, which is where I'm really excited about this, right? Like turning this like foundational data and like orchestration layer into an application layer that can scale to thousands, tens of thousands, 100,000s of users.
Wow.
And on that, like even one of the hottest aspects right now that people are really interested in is, as you kind of mentioned, is basically building these like terminals so that other people can trade, but utilizing both, as we just mentioned, the autonomous agents and the prediction market data. You can build like parlays. So now you can even like so the prediction markets is just like the Lego, right? And now they're the building block top. But again, when you start coupling them together, you can even get more complicated and more complex hedging tools and stuff like that. And so it's not just like one outcome as well. You can combine multiple, and like this is again why I'm like super excited about the partnership. Is as those things get coupled together, they obviously get way more complicated. And so as much as we can like throw off to like autonomous systems to handle those complications, like 10x is the amount of use cases we can apply to this.
Nothing hits quite like a parlay.
It's different when it's like a parlay for like weather contracts that you're like you can keep your business alive, right? Those are two completely different outcomes versus sports bets there.
Yeah, we've seen sports betting actually hit the top news today with Chauncey Billups and a couple of players getting inundated, connected. Yeah, Terry Rozier getting connected with the mafia for prediction betting on gambling and games. I mean, for a coach to be, indicted here is insane, but it tells you just how serious this market is for, everything. So maybe Karush, I can go to you here after I bring it to Ian, because I know Ian is a huge Trailblazers fan, so I got to hear it from him. Sorry today, but maybe we, to lighten it up, right? If Kalshi and Polymarket already hitting billion-dollar valuations, and what happens when you add AI agents into that mix? How big can this prediction markets, gambling, sports agent game get from your perspective?
Yeah.
Oh,
wait.
Goodness.
Yeah, I had to put the jersey on. I had it ready.
Can you stand up and show the people just one time, the front and the back?
Oh my goodness, that's dedication right there.
It's Dave
jersey. Yeah, it was unfortunate news. Honestly, it was like the first thing I read when I woke up this morning. So not ideal. But yeah, I mean the Blazers lost their home like last, and so that was when we saw Chauncey on the floor like coaching. But yeah, it was very, very unfortunate news. But yeah, do you want to repeat the second part of your question, Ryan?
Yeah, I guess just looking at what's happening this month alone, right? Because Kalshi raised at over $1 billion valuation, Polymarket crossed that same line, and all of that is before AI or any autonomous systems enter the picture. And what Tim just showed us is that prediction markets and AI agents and Web3 are becoming one today with our partnership. So once you have agents that can reason across markets, hedge dynamically, run nonstop 24/7, I'd love for somebody like you who's done marketing and growth management for so many different types of industries across Web3. What kind of shift are we seeing here? How big do you see this getting?
Yeah, I mean, I think we were kind of talking in the waiting room before the show just about like what kind of opportunity this opens up and the different types of apps that could be built with this data, and ultimately those are going to attract their own subset of users. And then when you combine, automation and intelligence and autonomy to that, it's like a whole different experience, right? Like it completely speeds up what you can do and makes it infinitely more accessible, which is going to be key for people who don't understand. And like, I've talked about Banker multiple times before. The guys are probably like, tired of of hearing about it at this point. But like, I see that as a team that is like fundamentally, changing that experience, that trading experience for people, and going to bring a lot more people into, or like under the umbrella of a trader, right? Like anyone can trade, similar to how like an agent makes everyone a developer, right? Like to some extent, right? So I think like these types of tools can bring everyone into these like new markets that move at the speed of light, 24/7, and trade on like real world events. So there's no shortage of opportunities to like, get your bag, I guess is what I'm what I'm saying. So or else preserve your bag in the case of the farmer here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm really interested here because Tim, go ahead. I was just going to ask about the average user. Now, do they have a level playing field with the power user that Karush was talking about? But I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Yeah,
me?
I can
or
jump
Lucas,
in.
you hit it.
All right, I'll jump in quickly then. I think it does 100% level the playing field for sure in a pretty major way. I think on a couple of different levels. I think one, just prediction markets in general. I think it's we talk about hard trends a lot. Like it's a hard trend for sure. It's a superior betting experience. I think we've already seen it's just better in a whole number of different ways. And I think, just the global sports betting market is valued at, I think, around $200 billion. So if we're talking about superior sports bet, not only sports betting, but betting on every single event in the world, then also looking at it from the angle of intelligence, I think, the concept of collective intelligence is really fascinating, and people act as rationally and optimally as they can when money is on the line. So all of a sudden we have like the best market intelligence collection of data I think ever. So for me, like that's the one of the really, really interesting insights is how we're going to leverage that data that we can get from prediction markets to more accurately, again, like in the word, predict future events. But yeah, going back to level playing field, I just think it's, you no longer have the house always wins because the house isn't there. I think it's also now with AI agents, you can, we talked about this before, coming up with strategies, allowing it to execute trades and execute capabilities that previously were only accessible to whales, like Karush said, is currently dominated by these big guys who have a way bigger arsenal of tools. And I think through tools like Karush has come up with Dome, like we're all of a sudden giving that accessibility to everybody, which I think makes a big difference, as important for the maturation of this industry.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I guess we could talk about this for ages, but like just the depth and breadth of all of this, like, right, like we're talking about, hedging applications for like farmers, all the way down to like an idea I just popped in my head was like all the way down to like sort of the crypto community level is using it as a tool for bootstrapping community engagement, right? Like, for example, we could have our own OpenServ, and I'm sure someone's going to come up with a platform like this. Like, we could have our own OpenServ, like sort of like prediction market page where we could like put up, or the community could put up interesting markets, right? Like, when are the first 1,000 users going to come in, and people can bet on that and use that as a way to engage. Like, who's going to show up on the live stream today? How many times is Lucas going to say or I'm probably the worst.
Thanks, man. Call me out like that.
I'm probably worse at that than him. There you go, case in point. And yeah, so like just from so many different ways that this could be implemented, and it's more than a betting thing. It's just an entirely new like financial instrument that can be applied across so many different markets. And I don't think we've even come close to seeing what's going to come out of all this. I mean, to think that this really, like, okay, it started off with the election last year, but it's really kind of only picked up in the last like handful of months now. And this is, I mean, to me, I've been in crypto for almost 10 years now. One of, if not the biggest, like product market fit for crypto that I've ever seen. That not only addresses the existing crowd, but completely opens it up to a new market of users. Like 1 billion people will be using prediction markets like that. That's something I actually believe in. And with the rails that have been built up over the last 10, 15 years with stable coins, with these different like fast transaction layer chains, it's kind of a match made in heaven, and something that you wouldn't have really expected even a year ago. Like prediction markets, even like Polymarket, people are like, oh, it's nothing really going on here. Oh yeah, I can bet on the election. Okay, cool. But it's just morphing into something so much bigger.
Yeah, it's amazing how that presidential election was sort of the cultural moment for people to realize that Web3 and prediction markets could actually not tell the future, but maybe give us a glimpse into it. So, Karush, I wanted to invite you to, to give us your perspective on how this has shifted and Dome's long-term role in the future here, because the prediction markets are really becoming maybe maybe not the source of truth, but the world's source of what the truth may become, like a live pulse of what people believe will happen next. Like what happens when AI starts writing the truth, or the prediction markets start telling people what's going to happen before it happens. I mean, Dome is already unifying all of these different and aggregating all of these different prediction markets with AI agents acting on those markets and that conviction. From your seat, how far do you think this can go? Do you see Dome as like the layer of autonomous finance, and does it eventually become the way that the world prices every decision? How far does this rabbit hole go?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's multiple answers to that. So like first taking a step back on the crypto layer, like I've been in crypto for over like 10 years. And so it's been really exciting, especially as a tech enthusiast and very passionate about blockchain, to see like prediction markets find a really strong product market fit on blockchain technologies. And so that and stablecoins, I think, is finally taking it mainstream, to Tim's point. And then to Ryan, what you were mentioning, I think just like we were in the earlier days with blockchain and crypto technologies, you had a lot of really, really great currencies and applications, but they were all like fragmented and they were all over the place. Trading on one exchange and Coinbase is completely different experience as trading on Kraken and all these other places, especially with DeFi as well. And then as the space matured, you had these like aggregators, you had these unifiers, you have people like, hey, I just need to do a swap, find me the best quote, go ahead and go swap it. And so as the space matured, you get like all of these raw tools that get cleaned and funneled into like this one like cohesive source. And I think that's like the next evolution for prediction markets, and hopefully what Dome is trying to achieve here is basically you have Kalshi, Polymarket, Limitless, all of these other players that are basically like the core liquidity layer. And as kind of Lucas was saying earlier, like I think the actual end use case is going to be a bunch of applications built on top of these liquidity layers. I don't think Kalshi and Polymarket are like kind of the end game here. I think there's so many companies and products and services that haven't even been created yet that are going to be the future of how people are interacting with these products. I think I believe that Kalshi and Polymarket will be the core liquidity layer that a bunch of services tap into. And so as we like mix autonomous agents in there and as we mix information gathering, I think there's just a lot of benefits there. One, it runs 24/7. It's peer-to-peer. If you have autonomous agents working for you, you can be sleeping, and if some big event happens in Asia markets and I'm in the West Coast, my agents are already automatically taking hedges. They're automatically making the appropriate moves. Whereas in traditional financial systems, you wake up and you're like, okay, well, the market's closed. And when the market opens, you're just completely pushed to one side. And so I think, again, kind of what we were echoing before, it's a democratized way of acting on information. And it's a whole new mechanism of achieving and acquiring information. As Tim said, like we started off with the political election, and people were able to see in real time, not just like what the polls were saying, but what people are actually like putting their money where their mouth is, that one. And then so I think it's again another tool. It's not like going to be the final like only source. It's just another tool that collectively allows us to achieve more accurate tooling and fine hedging with information. And so I'm really like confident that it's just another primitive that people are going to use in their day-to-day applications.
Yeah,
I just have a question
really for what you said there. Like I think with crypto, it's kind of like the evolution there is you can markets are open 24/7, right? But now it's like with agents and AI kind of like converging. Now it's like everyone can trade 24/7. So that I think that is like the huge opportunity here. So yeah, that really resonates.
So prediction markets are entering their prediction markets moment. Prediction market super cycle.
Shout out to Giga Chad Shane Copeland. He saw this coming like 6 years ago.
What was the first one? It was like Augur, I think. Augur was the first prediction.
Augur was the OG. And then Shane and Kalshi have done an incredible job of just, like props to both of those guys and everyone who's been working in that space. There was 3 or 4 years that I know Kalshi was in regulatory hell, and Polymarket was really working on scaling and barred from the US, and So there was a lot of like, initial challenges, and for them to like persevere and get to the end zone, it has been really, really encouraging, especially as a young founder myself. And so really, kudos to them. But like, yeah, they absolutely, saw this 5 years ago and stuck with it. So I'm really glad they did.
Yeah, definitely. I find that interesting in the investor, like an investor memo from someone who invested in Polymarket. I saw they shared on Twitter like a couple weeks ago, and one of the pros they put for Polymarket and specifically for Shane, it was like, isn't afraid of regulatory risk. And I was like, I think that's a very, really interesting. We're at a point in time where for you to innovate, yeah, you have to take some risk. There's a chance that, maybe the government isn't going to look too fondly upon it, but you have people like this who really stick through with it and believe in the vision that they see, and I think are able to enact great change. So like you said, for, as a young founder as well, I find it very inspiring, and I think it should, pushes us all to really, take a big leap.
Amazing. I know everybody wants to get their hands on these agents and prediction markets to make their own cash and make some income. And I think, Karush, you summed it up perfectly. What we've been circling all afternoon or evening, this idea that prediction markets they're not just about bets anymore or just one thing versus the other. They're becoming a pulse on conversation, on culture, and also a way for people to make money. Frankly, it's a really great product market fit for Web3, which has been looking for utility. And everybody loves making a decision or choosing a poll. And why not vote with your dollar, right? So I wanted to throw to each of you, if we could, as an exercise before we wrap up here, just a simple one-liner of thought, if you can. What's next? What do you think is next here, or the next wave that excites you most about this intersection? Prediction markets, AI, and automation are starting to merge. Tim, if I could begin with you, because you've been building the rails for autonomous reasoning for over a year and a half now.
Yeah, I'm the application layer of this. So how this primitive and the data layers are going to turn into an entirely new form of applications. That's what I'm really stoked about. And obviously that's something we're really excited about here at OpenServ, and seeing that materialize in the day-to-day now with what we got going on already with our platform launch only a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, that's what I'm stoked about.
Amazing. Karush, you've built the data layer that makes this all possible, right? What's next for Dome? What's the frontier you want builders to explore that nobody's touched yet?
I mean, it's kind of a cheating answer because I'm stealing a lot of Tim's answer. But yes, applications and services. This is also like the crypto moment where the rails and the infrastructure layer is being built, and now there's going to be so many applications built on top. And so I'm super, super excited to see just there are going to be billion-dollar companies that are built in the next year that are going to grow in the next 5 years, building on both of our tools right here. And so I'm super excited to see that growth with these companies. I think the next thing for Dome that really will allow that vision. We saw the awesome demo that OpenServ did using Dome's API, and we want to automate even more of that. And so I think the next logical step is building a smart order router, so that regardless of what platform you're trying to place an order, it's stupid easy for not only a user, but also for an agent that says, hey, I fetched this data. I want to go purchase this data. I don't have to worry about integrating with 10 platforms. I'm just going to give it to a smart order router. It's going to find me the best price. It's going to find me the best liquidity. It's just going to do that action on my behalf.
Insane. Lucas, you've been thinking a lot about the product layer and the builder experience. So what do you think is the next unlock here, or from a real use case perspective, taking this from a dev tool to something the world uses?
Yeah, I hate to be a bit of a broken record, but of course the application, that's why we're all here. You guys heard of the application layer?
Real original.
But okay, I'll try to be a little more niche. I said this before, but I think the concept that this is the most accurate forecasting tool that we might have available for us across a huge number of domains, to me, is very, very interesting. Wow. And specifically the type of application I'm interested in are tools that build on top of that predictive capability of prediction markets. So I don't know, I can't tell you exactly on the spot what I think those things are going to be, but I just think we've created this incredibly powerful tool for accurately forecasting the future, and I'm just very excited to see how people can leverage that data. And of course, that's why I think Dome's doing a great job. You're building the data layer for what's going to be a multi-billion, multi-decabillion, multi-centibillion dollar industry. So yeah, just incredibly excited about this kind of specific niche of the prediction capabilities of these markets.
Yeah, mic drop. People can tell the future now. That was basically the announcement of the day.
But they did
Ian.
drop a dashboard, I think, quickly before. Sorry, Ian, I'm going to cut you off. But real quick, they did, I think Polymarket dropped a dashboard where you can see like how accurately they predicted events at certain time intervals. So that's a pretty cool one. Sorry, Ian. I know it's been a rough day already with the Trailblazers.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Ian. So I wanted to give you at least the final word here before we wrap up. You know, you're the closest to the community. I want to give a huge shout out to the OpenServ community. They're going nuts. From Ronnie to Leonidas to Killer Bees to Freud and PT Barnum and Ruim Tapak, Marcel, all of you guys, shout out to the community. They're going nuts. Kevin Sanderson, you're going nuts in our Telegram. We're almost at 3,000 folks. So make sure you join the conversation if you enjoyed this part. But Ian, you're the closest to the community. What's next from a builder or ecosystem angle? How do we get more people in here experimenting with this new kind of market and telling the future, making money?
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes down to like some growth build. You know, I think we're building in public right now. Like those are going to be the things that, you know, from our content, kind of people into feeling what this actually is, and what it enables, and like that kind of goes into what I'm actually excited about. And I won't say application layer, but I'll say like accessibility to markets. I think that's going to bring like so many new people into I had to censor myself for the stream. So many new people into trading and into, you know, just that feeling, and I think like once they do feel it, they're there. So yeah, I think like we're kind of like from a marketing perspective, like building in public, building these growth experiments that people can like really understand, you know, these integrations and partnerships in the context of building on OpenServ and building with agents and AI. So yeah, so that's what's next and
amazing,
what I'm excited about.
And Ryan, are we going to hear from you?
Yeah.
If you want to hear my prediction, there's a prediction market on what my opinion will be. Actually, right now it's live on Polymarket. No,
10% trading fee.
Exactly, it's going up. Actually, the fees are high for me. What's clear is that we're just getting started, right? So I just think that prediction markets are going to hit this cultural zeitgeist moment. It's not a niche corner of Web3 anymore. It's sort of the mix of how belief, and I literally mean belief or like faith, and capital and intelligence are going to interact. So that's a very wide spectrum. And if the fact that money can weave its way through here means that you, as the watcher of this stream, can make money off of this. You can make income. You can build a company and a product off of that agent that you just saw right now. You could use it for fantasy football or your own private group or your company get-togethers. You know, and I think that in general, what this partnership that we have here with Dome represents is Dome is building this data layer that has never been put together before with literally the hottest niche in the world, if I'm being frank. And OpenServ is building the agent layer that's ready to, with the best reasoning in the world, an actual platform with actual agents to connect this data layer to Web3. We are the only AI automation tool that is connected to Web3 in the world. You're not going to be able to build a workflow with N8N or OpenAI or anyone to do this. You can't build a lovable app with prediction markets in Web3. You need OpenServ's platform, and we just launched a couple of weeks ago. So for the rest of you, the community, what you're building on top of this is the future of the space. It's not really just what we think. So for everyone watching, thank you for hanging out with us. I didn't know I had this many friends. I'm very popular now that I have these four guys with me. Karush, we'd love to have you back and to show off the next amazing prediction model agent. But since you are a guest, I did want to give you the final word. Where can we find you? Where can we follow you? What should we be paying attention to next for Dome?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter, Telegram, Discord, pretty much everywhere online. Karush Dabash, you can follow me there. But yeah, if you're interested in Dome, if you want to get building in the prediction market space, we highly encourage you to go to domeapi.io. It'll allow you to sign up, and it'll probably just reach out to me. We're onboarding a bunch of new developers on there. We'll get you an API key. All of our APIs are completely free to use. We're really motivated in just getting people to build in the space. So reach out to me in any channel. We'd love to get you an API key and get you start building.
That's fire. That's fire. Thank you for hanging out with us. And keep an eye out for the next demo drop. You never know when it's going to be. It'll probably be today or tomorrow because no one ships like OpenServ, as you can tell. So jump into our community, join our Telegram, follow us on X at OpenServ AI, and start building. Join the platform, jump in, and get in these prediction markets. Log into Dome. The future of prediction markets is autonomous. It's happening right now. It's happening right here. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you guys in the trenches.
Guys.
Thank you, everyone.